the best line of the debate, I have an idea of where I think that this should go. I'm going to give it to Bernie Sanders. Probably not going to surprise a lot of you. I think that what makes a best line is that it tells you a lot about the candidate in a very short period of time. And considering that there are still a lot of people who don't know much about this campaign, certainly don't know much about Bernie Sanders, he needed to do that. And I think that he did it in a video we're going to show you in 1 second, where he talked about some of the ways that he has led in the party, where he has staked out difficult positions, electorally potentially damaging positions, long before other Democrats caught up to him. And you're going to see that in this video.
Secretary Clinton, I don't mean to be overly partisan here, supported DOMA in 1996, and that is the Defense of Marriage Act, which I think she has since apologized for. It was a homophobic piece of legislation. Back then, it was not easy to vote against that piece of legislation. All right? I voted against that piece of legislation. Back in the early 1990s, when all of corporate America and all the Republicans and many Democrats were pushing these disastrous trade agreements, NAFTA and later CAFTA and permanent noble trade relations with China, I didn't vote for any of them. I helped lead the opposition to them. So I'm not saying by any means that after thousands of votes, I did not cast bad votes. I did. But I will say that time and time again, I took on issues and cast votes that were unpopular at the time, but turned out years later, whether it's the vote against the war in Iraq, vote against trade agreements, voting against DOMA, voting against the first Gulf War. Those are votes that I cast. They were not popular votes. Those are the votes that I cast, and I'm proud of casting those votes.
Right. And the reason that I think that that is the best line is, and I talked about this in another video, that Hillary Clinton on the minimum wage loves to say how, oh, like secretly I would love higher than a $12 an hour minimum wage. I'm just never going to fight for it, but I will stand behind people who do. Well, then fine. Put one of them up for the presidency because they're the one actually leading. And Bernie Sanders just gave a great example of the various ways on a number of different issues, from social issues to economic issues to military actions as well, that he has not just gone along with the crowd, but that he has led. And other Democrats, thankfully, have been educated by the populace into taking the same position as him. Sometimes years, sometimes decades after he had the position. The presidency is a leadership position. It is not an assistant-in-chief. It's not someone who's great at supporting the team. It is a leadership position, and he demonstrated leadership throughout his career and summed it up very well in that clip, I think.